Hey friend, are you asking yourself, is this what I really want to be doing with my life? I don't think so. I think there's something else that I'm meant to be doing. Welcome to the Painting Your Path podcast, where we have real conversations about what it takes to step out, be bold, and do you. I'm your host, Clarissa Castillo-Ramsey. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Painting Your Path podcast. I'm your host, Clarissa Castillo-Ramsey. And before we get into today's episode with my special guest, I have one special announcement for you. If you've got a creative idea that's been circling your mind, whether it's getting back to your art or starting or finishing writing that book you've been talking about for years, I'm hosting a free masterclass on May 11th called Activate Your Creative Voice. In this masterclass, you'll learn how to reconnect with what wants to be expressed, move through the inner blocks that keep you in a holding pattern, and take a real step toward the creative project, dream, or next chapter that's calling you. See the details in the show notes to register. Today, I'm joined by Alexander A.D., artist, designer, film producer, and quiet force in the Altadena community. This man is incredible. We met while painting fellow Altadenan Austin Scott's mural honoring the history of Altadena. What I didn't realize in that moment was just how much Alexander has been creating behind the scenes. Films, photography, music, and a proposed public art installation called You Are Here. That gave me chills. In our conversation, we talk about the power of community, what it means to live as an artist in the second half of life, and Alexander's beautiful answer to the question, when is the meaning of life? So let's get into it. Welcome to the Painting Your Path podcast, Alexander. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So I have so many questions to ask, but first I love to ask my guests just to share a little bit about themselves. And I am very curious about your last name, or what appears to be your last name, A.D.
Mm-hmm. I am a creative. So under that, it's the easiest thing for me to say. It's unusual because everyone wants to pigeonhole you into one position. But under the umbrella of creative, I'm an artist, a designer, a photographer, a fine art photographer at that. Also a chef, been chefing since I was 6 years old. So that's a long, long story there. It's just so, and I've been able to work in so many genres and monetize my being an artist, which when I was young, was told I was supposed to be a doctor, and I had very strict parents, and a guideline that was given to me that was very cookie cutter, and I definitely knew I didn't fit that mold. But it took me a long time in a corporate life to realize, no, I'm an artist, and to embrace that and to live that 100% completely, no matter the trials and tribulations, which there are. But it's about staying true to your passion. And I always tell people, if you stay true to your passion, the money's going to come. There's always going to be an audience for you. You will find a way.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, very similar to me. My parents came here from the Philippines, both doctors. They didn't push us to be doctors, but they did, want us to go get good grades, go to a good school, be in business, do something that's reputable. And I've always been an artist ever since I was a child. And it's taken me the corporate almost 3 decades getting out of that and embracing this artistic path. So thank you for sharing with us that, don't stress about the money. It'll come, be on your path. So
I think
Um,
it's hard. It's when you're raised and you're given a narrative and then obviously you're guided in that route. It takes you to mature and be comfortable in your own skin and really doing what's necessary for your soul.
for sure, for sure. Could we talk a little bit about that path since a lot of the audience are aspiring artists, people who would love to make a living as an artist
Hmm.
and have had similar, stories.
Hmm.
How did you find the wherewithal? And could you tell us a little bit about how you found your footing in your creativity and how that perhaps led you to work and whatever you'd like to share.
Yeah, again, it has to go back to my childhood. I was an only child. I'm half Chinese, half Russian, and so I have very strong, domineering parents, very strong family members that they both escaped wars and landed here in California and established these great lives, but based on old school ideology. So me as being an only child, and I was highly accelerated, I was often left to my own devices of reading and exploring the world, and it's just the artistic vibe was just innate in me. I guess it's my DNA. I'm sure it comes from my dad was an engineer, my mother is an artist, and so that bled into me, obviously, where I just did and created. Funny that as being an artist, my family or my parents didn't want to recognize that and allow me to fulfill that role. It was being torn into another direction, which, I did because I'm the dutiful son and did what I can.
Right.
But I led a very accelerated life and school was not my thing. And like I graduated high school at 16 and graduated college at 18. I just wanted to get out. I'm like, if I need to work and make money, then I need to do this. And I got myself into a corporate life. So me being an artist is the only thing that really made me happy, whether I was painting or whether I was sculpting or I was tinkering or even taking apart very expensive watches to see how they work and put it back together and try to make it invisible so I could show people the movement. It's just odd things like that, or doing bonsais wasn't when I was a kid, or just weird things. So, but it all was that artistic endeavor, and to me, really literally after working crazy 40 plus hours as a vice president in the corporate world. And then my off time, I was creating jewelry at the time. I was working in the film industry. So I was doing a dual life. I barely got any sleep, but it finally clicked in me. I said, being an artist is what fulfills me. It gives me joy. And that's where I came up with my daily motto, which is, it's important to be inspired every day by something, and it's your job to inspire others. So I guess on that road of being, an artist, I wanted people to see things that I was making, but I also wanted to learn from other people and understand their techniques and just be inspired by their stories because there are so many amazing artists out there, but understanding their backstory is what really is intriguing because we're actually all not alone. We all have some kind of internal dialogue. We're all messengers. I don't know what and how. I mean, I sit down. Sometimes it's a painful process to start creating something, but in the end result, it's better than what I ever imagined. And it's here to exist beyond me. It's like I'm creating something as a legacy. And, it took me a while to trust and accept me as an artist because of being dumbed down by my
Yes.
parents and being kind of pigeonholed and like you're never going to be successful. You're not going to make any money. Back then I really wanted to be an architect. I could do elevations and draw houses that blended in with the environment. This is even before I understood, all the concepts of what architecture is about. And I guess it's innately, you also know what you like. There's some kind of
Yes.
resonance where you can look at something and say, hey, I like the way that looks, or the shape is there. It's that tangible, intangible where you don't understand it, but once you start to learn and study the process or just really staying curious and just diving in and saying, what really makes this? Why do I like this so much? And why do I want to make more of something? But here's my idea of what that is.
Yes. And I'm curious, what are you curious about and what inspires you? You talked about artist stories, their backdrop, their backstories. What else?
I, I, it's just I have a curious nature. Whether
Yeah.
I'm traveling or I'm in a different country and walking the village, I'm looking at how things are formulated or how people produce food or the different way that their glassware looks or jewelry. I mean, it's just there's so much interesting things with jewelry and the backstory, how that was created and the heritage or the artisans of generations that come to this present time and create this amazing thing. I've been very privy to traveling, been very privy to knowing what luxury is and knowing what those high-end brands and how they produce things to, these. I mean, it's not always just about the name. It's not about, how much it costs. It's what the actual craftsmen and artisans do to produce that item. And you hold it and you could kind of feel that energy. And that's a
Yes.
thing that I do when I create whatever it is, whether I'm shooting a photograph or I'm sitting there designing a piece of jewelry or I'm making a piece of furniture. There's always an intention, and I'm always making sure I'm in the right mindset when I'm doing it because I know that whatever energy I'm putting into that item is going to be translated to whoever is holding it or seeing it. And I mean, that's for me. That's again, there we go, intention. So I mean,
Yes.
all these things I started to learn later in life when I decided to say, I'm an artist and I'm going to own up to that and I'm going to live to my true self,
I love that.
you know.
Well, you inspire me because I'm saying in this second half of life, I'm an artist. And
Mhm.
it was something that I would kind of say,
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, I'm this and I'm an artist. But stepping into that really and leaving the corporate space because I was in it for so long and it did wear me down. And I just thought, okay, I can't do this anymore. And having this freedom um, is just it's a whole other world. And so, anyways, I'm just so grateful that we connected, meeting at Austin Scott's mural. And in
Yes.
fact, at the time of this recording, I'm going back there after our chat to help
When's the
him
last time
wrap
you were
up.
there?
When I met you,
Oh my
I
God.
didn't get to go back.
Oh, oof, yes. I have been through the journey and helping bring it, flesh it to life. And it has so much energy. And that's
Yes.
also, me being an artist. Yes, I love creating, but and I've learned that collaboration is also key because when you sit and you collaborate with other people, the thing that you're doing or whatever you're creating, you're inviting their energy into it and it comes out like amazing.
Yes.
When you look at this mural that we're talking about that I think we'll go live May. We'll have a grand opening. You sit there and you say, wow, there was a community that stepped up to help and assist with this. And you do feel the reverence of that. And to me, it's also a legacy because there's going to be generations that will see it and we're never going to forget what happened to our community with the fire. I mean, it was a little bit over a
Yes.
year ago. And a lot of people who aren't in the area don't understand or won't be able to feel that. So we have to carry on the messaging because what we basically are, we are a community and we need to show it as a
Absolutely.
community. We are strong.
Yes.
And so that can translate to other areas that go through these kind of, demisable situations. I mean, what happened overnight I tell people if you had to actually stand in the center of it after and feel what it was
Right.
like in the veracity of it and what it
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
And and so let's talk about that because I would love to know what is your tie to Altadena? What brought you to Altadena? And
I moved to Altadena, I think 2 months prior to COVID. So this lovely house that I was able to be a steward of, I was taking care of the owner's dog while he was doing a NASA project in Florida for the Mars landing project. But and of course in COVID we were quarantined there, and at that time I fell in love with this house. It's just amazing. Had a greenhouse in the back, had orchids, had fruit trees, And that's when I really began to love the community because I would do my walks and I would meet the neighbors and I would hear the peacocks every morning. And it just became really special to me to understand, wow, in this grand community, how diverse it is and how there's magic, absolute magic. Um, I had since moved out of that house 2 years, maybe 2 years after COVID. And, I was really wanting to buy the house because I fell in love with it so bad. So I was trying to do everything I can to buy the house. It didn't work out. Come flip forward to the Eaton fire, and I did a lot of photography work behind the scenes a week after the fire, just to document. And we created a grid for the entire community so people can log in and see in real time if their house was standing or not. It's now turned into a place where you can deposit your stories, like, "Hey, I lived at this address, and here's my story about Altadena," which is how we build community, right? So when I was doing the tour on the first day of my shoot with the crew, we were driving through, and it was just devastating. We're just taking tons of pictures. And it came to the end of the day, the sun was beginning to set. We got down to my neighborhood, and the house that I wanted was no longer there. Turned the corner 2 blocks, and amidst all the rubble, the peacocks were still there. Beautiful, colorful ones, one white. Those are some of the strongest images I shot because it was a juxtaposition of just the rubble and the this complete destruction. And in front of that was these beautiful birds. Like, how did they survive this inferno? So that's why I call the peacock is the new phoenix. And,
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah. And that time was so intense and so indescribable.
Yes.
And grateful my house is still standing. Half of my street, got hit, and just I've lived here since 2002,
Mm-hmm.
but have been in my own bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And since the fire, like, I have truly gotten to know my community.
Mm-hmm.
I've done workshops on resiliency, meditative art, and this community is really, I'm just so in awe by the people that I meet and everything that people are doing. Um, and with that, I would love to talk about a project. I know that you put a proposal together for,
Mm-hmm.
called "You Are Here."
Mm-hmm.
Could you please share a little bit more about that?
Ooh, that gives me chills. Because as we've been recovering, like we're now a little bit over a year since the fires, I have been in Altadena almost every single day. And it's helped me fall more in love with Altadena, which cemented in my mind, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. I'm going to build and just grow with the community, be one of the voices that help us grow and help us love and live, but also to spread the word that, hey, we're an example. Because I think a lot of people think people in LA or California are shallow, vapid, or we're starstruck, or we're just locked. And we can be locked in our own bubbles. This teaches us how we need to unite as one, so
Yes.
that actually we have care and empathy and respect for one another. Um, so the mural proposal that I have, and we talk about resiliency. I've noticed that this has been a theme throughout my entire life of projects that I take. It always has a thread, a through line of resiliency and resilience and survival and rebirth. Guys, and that's a hi. That's a dog. um, it's a mural that it's at a major street. So most of Altadena drives through the street, they're going to see it. And it's on a wall right now where it's an ongoing art installation, which is beautiful. So there's a different mural once a year. And so I proposed a mural that I would like to come up in 2028 because I'm doing some things for the Olympics. So the things I'm doing for LA Olympics have a story with Altadena in it. I want to bridge the gap. So what this mural is about, it really just shows us in black and white, the starkness of our mountainscape, which is Altadena, which is our signature mountainscape, represents there's the peacocks because I said those are that's the new phoenix, and those are the exact peacocks I shot a week after the fire. Um, a mirror that will show us, it has a reflection, and it actually shows the activity behind us of Altadena as it's growing and being nurtured. And below the mirror is the latitude and longitude where you're actually standing. Because I think it's important that wherever we are on this planet, that we pay respect and reverence to who stood on that land prior to us. And it's just, for me, it's about being present, taking a moment and just taking a breath. Okay, hey, I'm here. Let me acknowledge my space and where I'm standing. And hey, we're stewards. We're lucky to be where we are. We also just, again, taking that beat, taking that moment and reflecting this, looking at you, looking at the rest of the community, we're all one.
Yes.
Um, and then next to the mirror, as you're looking at this, is the picture of the photograph I took of Christmas Tree Lane, which was another final. Well, it was one of the shoots that I did in again, the closing of the day, and sunset was setting. We turned the corner, and I was absolutely shocked that Christmas Tree Lane was still existing. And I said, it brought tears to my eyes. And then I said, how amazing this is going to be going forward, that people get to come back here and celebrate every season. And hopefully everyone will just be reminded that there's resiliency.
Yes.
We have community get to join and be with these magnificent trees that should have been burnt because there were houses splattered throughout that were gone. Maybe one house
Right.
here and there was existing, but most of the houses were gone and are still gone.
Yeah.
So
And
that next to the mirror, you're reflecting yourself. You're looking over here. That's the path forward, and then you're joined by a little white peacock. So it's all an inclusive story.
ooh, I can't
There's
wait.
sound because I recorded this amazing 11-minute, 11-second looping. It's going to be looping, but it was a recording I did in the morning in Altadena. And in this recording, you could hear deer, you can hear the birds, you can hear peacocks in the distance. It was all these combination of the sounds of Altadena. It was nothing I needed to splice or put together or edit. It was a true recording. So I want that to be played as you're looking at this mural with the active traffic behind you and the smell of the coffee shop, that sponsors these murals. So it's an all inclusive kind of again, take your moment and reflect.
Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. That gave me chills. And I have a question, Alexander. So for people who are watching on YouTube, you have a beautiful photograph behind you, and I'm curious, is that Altadena? Is that or
No,
somewhere else?
that
Who
is
is
actually
that?
taken in Hudson Valley. But it
Okay.
was a beautiful pathway that I shot a couple of years ago, and it's in my collection, and I call it the journey.
Oh, I love it.
And I actually have a 8 foot by 4 foot. It's printed on glass, so it's transparent. It's in my house, but it's going to be hung Bakari restaurant or Bakari, excuse me, in Pasadena. That's going to be opening next to Javier's.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
so
very
it's going to be
nice.
hanging in there. It's going to create the story, which it's when you go to a restaurant, you're going for a journey, and
Absolutely. It's gorgeous.
so for me, it was about bringing the East Coast to the West and just bridging us because ultimately my story is let's all gather as a community. Sharing art is the messaging that, I want that delivered. That's my delivery
Yes.
message. I mean, however you community, it's just about us being present.
Yes, love it. Oh, and a question that I wanted to ask you. We've kind of talked about it, I think, a little bit, but in case there's more, but when is the meaning of life?
It is now. It's actually right now. It's between you and having a dialogue. It's about all of us getting together and having a dialogue. Um, and again, it's about us being present ourselves and just taking a moment. We get so busy with life that we miss even the smallest details. It may sound silly, even me filling a fountain today and just taking a moment to breathe and letting the water fill the fountain, and then enough to be quiet enough to see a hummingbird come by me. It probably doesn't, maybe it knows I'm there. I'm just going to stay still and I'm actually going to watch how beautiful this little tiny creature is and not startle it, lands, it takes its little bath and then flies away. But for me to be a witness and observe that, I'm telling myself, there are some amazing things out there that we could just miss. So when I say
Yes.
inspire and be inspired, I'm inspired by nature or anything that just sparks my inner dialogue to create something, and then I send the message outward into whatever form that is, whether it's film or photograph or you know.
Love that. Yes. And um, as you were talking, I was thinking about and the sounds that you recorded of the animals. So one of my favorite things to do in the morning is have my cup of coffee
Mhm.
outside, put out some nuts for the birds and the squirrels, and just be present
Mhm.
with the hummingbirds. And I bought this, I didn't buy, I downloaded this app called Merlin,
Mhm.
which is all about bird calls. And I just hit record and it listens to what's around you. Oh my gosh, Alexander. The last time when I sat outside 2 days ago, there were 15 different birds
Wow.
that I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh. And to your point, um, once you leave the corporate space, or at least for me, that truly was an opportunity to just slow down
Mhm.
and be present. So, yeah.
I don't regret my corporate life.
Oh, not at
Actually, I've learned not to have regrets because everything was a learning curve for me. So even that corporate space allowed me to be organized and function in my collaborative worlds, or even when I hire, I'm producing 5 films at the moment, and each one of these films that we do involves a family, and I mean, they're a family of a lot of people, and that takes governance and so it helped me know what kind of culture I've always wanted in my work environment so that everyone feels, sustained and healthy. And yes, I will integrate art because we're producing art. And whatever we're producing, I need that energy to be outputted in the most loving, respectful, inspiring way.
Oh, 100%. And same here. I, everything is a lesson. All our experiences, whether they're positive or maybe not so positive, but what's the silver lining? I always ask myself, what can I learn from this? What can I carry forward?
That goes back to staying curious.
Yeah.
It helps deflect a
Yes.
lot of, especially when we're dealing with someone who's stressed or angry or they're coming at you for, you just, okay, stay curious. Like, it's not me. It helps
Right.
take away that energy. Again, we're in a very stressful environment right now. I think even more so that it is going to take us to connect and to recognize us that we're all human,
Yes.
you know.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Okay, Alexander, before we shift into what I call rapid Q&A, is there anything else you'd like to talk about regarding your work, Altadena?
I'm just excited about our future. I mean, we are rising from the ashes, and I think it's going to be a prime example for the rest of the world.
Yes. Yes. Me too. Me too. Okay, so I'm going to shift gears, excuse me, and ask a couple of questions. The first one is, do you have a word or theme of the year?
Of the year,
Yeah,
I would be again resilience.
resilience. Yeah, that's a good one. How about a current obsession?
Ooh. Music.
Music, any particular kind?
I have been so deeply entrenched in my own feelings and acknowledging them and being vulnerable that I've written some amazing songs. I say amazing because I've shared them and I've gotten the feedback. And I wrote a song for one of our films coming out for the title, for the end credits. And everyone that's heard it, it brings me to tears because it moves them in the way that I want it to do, what I want it to do.
Awesome.
So.
Well, I can't wait to hear that when it comes out. How about a favorite book or podcast?
Ooh, the Giving Tree keeps coming back.
That's a good one. A classic. A
Yeah,
classic.
it does because it's like and when I do things and when I create things, I want it to be timeless, and so that book it equates to a lot. And if people take the time to read through it, they might pull away from something and go, okay, wait, what's truth and what's reality, and what's the ultimate what's love in general. I mean, that's what we all should strive for, and that's what we should all give. We should receive it. So,
Yes. Awesome. How about a lesson that you've had to learn over and over?
to take care of me, because if I'm not in a healthy space and if I'm not in a happy space myself, then I'm giving off energy that is affecting others.
Yeah,
But you can
that's
give
so
so much of
important.
yourself that you become depleted and you're exhausted and then you can't show up when it's
Yes.
necessary. So
Yes.
I had to learn that it's not selfish to take care of you. I was raised
Right.
that you're supposed to give, 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 and it was more about guilt and fear, and I think I got a lot of that as a kid. As a
Yeah.
kid, so I had to do the work, and yeah, just acknowledge that it's okay to take care of me, and
Yes. And what does that look like for you?
that it's okay to be have days alone. It's okay to go on your own solo hikes. It's okay to be in your own meditation. Um, it's okay to take yourself on a date.
Yes. How about some of your favorite Altadena spots?
Oof. I definitely like hiking in the mountains. I'm very fortunate in the neighborhood I am. I just walk up the street and then I'm all of a sudden in the mountains.
Me too.
And every single morning the lighting's different, the smell's different, the color gradients of all the ridges and it's just I'm always inspired every day. Like literally. And that's why I said when I made that recording, I couldn't it was just awe inspiring because it sounded like something that I went to a studio and I said, okay, I want this bird, I want this bird, I want this animal. Give me a couple deer in the background, give me some wind. Also, want to say you can hear my footsteps a little bit within the track, so it's kind of nice that I'm going to be the artist in residence, provided they accept this mural. You'll be able to hear a little bit of my signature throughout, which people might get or not get.
Yeah,
If I
that's
have
so
a presence
cool.
there, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely the hills, and there's pockets of restaurants and storefronts that I like to visit, and especially people that have really supported the community with giving food and just creating places for people to meet and connect. That's what Altadena is about. It's just this outwardly love of gathering of people and just keeping the conversation, you know.
Yeah. Keeping it going, keeping it
Yeah,
alive.
yeah, yeah.
How about I'm curious, your favorite color?
Dark navy blue. Dark navy, yes.
Mhm. Nice.
Yes. I always say I live in a world of, I dream in color, but I live in a world of black and white, which is probably, it's just one of the reasons why I liked Austin's mural because it was black and white. It was just, a
Right.
lot of my photography is black and white. It's a lot of minimalist and a lot of dark space with just maybe a little pop of white. So it just focuses on something, makes it striking.
Yes. Thank you. And how about the best place for people to connect with you?
Ah, My website, name's Alexander. So alexander.co. So if you go to that page, it has all my social media. It has my IMDb. It has a place where you can email me. Yeah, I don't know, just stay tuned. There's so many projects on the docket. I think I have about
Gosh.
18 projects between
Oh my God,
collaborations with
Alexander.
brands, my 5 film, and then what I'm doing for the Olympics. And that's, yeah, it's giving me chills because I'm so lucky to be here.
My gosh. Well, we're grateful that you're here. And the last question for you, Alexander. The name of this podcast is Painting Your Path. What
Mhm.
does painting your path mean to you?
Staying true and listening to the voices in my head to deliver a message of just creating art. I just, I want to create a legacy, but it's not, I feel like it's not me doing it. It's coming from here. It's coming from the paths that lead me to other collaborators, and we create something together, creating experiences. Uh, I think it's just being present and taking care of each other as human beings, as we should.
Yes, beautifully said. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here with us
Thank you for
today.
inviting me. I'm so glad our paths met at a beautiful project that's going to be delivering love for generations. And I can't wait
Yes.
till it's shared with the rest of the world.
Yes, I can't wait for the unveiling. And with that, I'll say goodbye to our audience. And as I always like to ask, let us know what your biggest takeaway is on social media or message us. And until next time, keep painting your path.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for staying till the very end. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with a friend. If you haven't had a chance yet, please write a review and rate the show. I would love to hear your feedback. And I also have a free resource guide for anybody who is asking themselves, am I on the right path for myself now? Or is there something else that I really want to do? Maybe you're in that quandary. Maybe you're wondering what's next. So head over to the show notes and you'll see my Painting Your Path framework guide. Download it and have some fun. Just start exploring. And thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you next week.